TG Geeks, episode 134, September 11th, 2017. It was horrible, I tell you. Just horrible. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com where Ben and Keith,
who's choking on his drink,
yes, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios back in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, but we were in San Diego this weekend.
And I'm Ben Raggington, wishing he was coming to you from lovely San Diego, California. But no, I am coming to you from, it is not so lovely because it is still over 100 degrees and we're still dealing with the monsoon and it's gross.
Yes.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Absolutely. And what were we in
we were there
San
for
Diego
a
for?
film festival.
A film festival. So we're going to do a little quick wrap up of that. So hang on to your horses and hats and saddles and glasses, and because this is the wildest ride in the internet.
Awooga, awooga.
Awooga, yes. So a quick recap of Horrible Imaginings. So we have two articles that we did.
Day one
Ben
and
did.
day two.
Yeah, and Roa's capturing day 3 for
because
us.
We're here and she's there.
Yeah, because we didn't have any more time left out that we can. The cat just jumped off of me, so that we could spend in San Diego and get home in time to go to work tomorrow morning or today when you're listening to this.
Yes.
So we had. I had a good time. It was good.
It was a good time. There was some. Well, the movies are always very enjoyable. Forget the fact that you and I picked 2 of them,
right,
to be shown.
Yeah.
But the other films that Miguel and his committee of selectors actually picked, I thought there was some really strong films, and the whole thing started off with a real bang.
Yeah.
A little bit of old-time radio.
Old-time radio from our good friends Neil and Jana Halford of Swords and Circuitry Studio. They put together a
show called Uncharted Regions.
It's a series of short stories, old-time radio stories that are clocking in about 25 minutes or so. And the first one was Someday Over You.
Another one that, if anybody ever saw Case of Evil, and if you haven't, then what's wrong with you?
We have that linked in our article.
Yes, we do. So please go to our website, look at day 1, and you'll find a link for Case of Evil, and we'll probably add that link also in the show notes. Yep. Anyway, Neil Halford does have something of a fascination with music, period stories, and supernatural. He enjoys that a great deal, and Someday Over You was no different. But I'll tell you what I really took away from this, and that is I thought the production values on that episode were amazing. It just, I was floored by how great it sounded.
Yeah, it was really great. And one of the things that they were able to do, and thanks to KPBS, they were able to use one of the sound booths there at the studio to record this, which was really a wonderful thing for them. And hopefully they'll be able to do that continuing as they do more episodes. Now, we hopefully soon will have an interview with Neil and Jana, as well as...
Oh, I'm sure we'll get one, it's just a question of when.
Yeah, as well as the actual episode, since this is the premiere and the test pilot and all of that kind of episode. They'll make that available to us, and we'll have it on the website at some point soon. But it was really great.
What was some things you took away from that? The radio episode.
I just loved the way the story was told, some of it was foreshadowed or telegraphed, but that's typical with any kind of really good writing. Sometimes you can see it. I didn't see how it was ultimately going to end, but I kind of saw what I thought was going to be.
Yeah, I figured out what the MacGuffin was, and all of that, and yet when the final payoff came, I was no less pleased. I thought it was just a wonderful piece of work, and something that Jaina told me yesterday, I think she mentioned this to you too, is that when they were running the episode in the theater at Museum of Photographic Arts, it was stone silent from the audience.
Yeah.
They were like completely engaged.
There was no sound in the audience.
No, everybody was just focused on the audio. And I like what Miguel did. Miguel decided to go ahead and turn down the lights in the theater as if they were going to show a movie.
Well, originally, Miguel had asked Neil to put together a little slideshow, since it was a film festival. Granted, they have done other things, and this was kind of outside the norm. But they couldn't.
But it was still horror.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it.
They couldn't get the slideshow to play properly, so they did it without, which I think
I'm glad
was much
they didn't.
better.
I'm really glad they didn't. I so prefer theater of the mind.
Yeah,
and I think that was I think it was there was a lot of serendipity there in the fact that it didn't work, the video aspect of it, because what's so great about radio is that when you hear it, and if you're really engaged in what you're hearing, you're going to internalize that and do so in a way that best resonates with you. And then it's what Hitchcock liked to do with his movies. Was most terrifying to one person won't be as equally terrifying to another, but let's show it in such a way so that it's equally terrifying, or presented in such a way so that everybody's imagination will make it equally terrifying or equally mysterious or equally scary.
right.
And that's what this did. It was fantastic. And, kudos to the direction, the sound effects, the voice acting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was a real
great.
treat. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully we're going to be involved in that as well. So we'll be doing something with it. Who knows what we will be doing, but we'll have some interest in that. And then after that, was the Horror for Humanity, was that the...
I don't think it was Horror for Humanity, no.
This was, I can't remember what the...
Like Human Nightmare or something like that.
Yeah, the next block.
Right.
What was your standout of this next block? There was String, The Creep, The Reunion, That's Final, and Assumption, and those were the ones that were in that block.
Right. Of that bunch, I mean, and there were good films. I don't think there was any one that I didn't like. There were some that I clearly liked more than others. And I'm not going to go completely down the list on what how I felt about each one, but I will say that the one that I loved the most was That's Final. This was, in fact, I called it pure horror trailer trash.
Exactly.
And it could serve as a really great
trailer
companion.
Trash horror, yeah.
Yeah, trailer trash horror. It could serve as a really great companion piece to Night of the Slasher, because it's all about horror tropes.
Exactly.
But they really played it up, and these were trailer trash people.
Exactly. And it was,
and that was the whole intent.
And that was the whole point.
Right.
Yeah. And every cliche, and it's like, oh my God, he didn't do that, did he?
Right. On Final Girl. No, and so, the most virtuous one will be the one who's left. Well, I haven't had sex. Well, I've never smoked. And then they start going down they start, these two gals start comparing notes as to which one is the most virtuous, because she's the one who's going to live. And they're having this argument while the killer's trying to get into their place.
Exactly. And one of the characters says, "We're all going to die."
We're all going to die.
It really is hilarious.
It was a lot of fun. It got great laughs. And it just, again, it's another example that there's so much more to horror than, like a Blair Witch kind of movie.
Right.
Horror. There's so much fertile ground out there, and this was it.
Yeah. And then there was The next section
this
was the
horror for humanity, and
yeah.
here's where things got odd.
Yeah. There was Yesterday is Tomorrow, Transmission, A Nearly Perfect Sky, For a Good Time Call, and then Midnighters.
Mm-hmm.
So those were all... there was a couple that I didn't care for, and I'm not going to say, but what was your standout?
Wow, this is really sort of a tough call for me. I think the one that I would have liked the best was For a Good Time Call. One of the things that I really liked about it is that the pacing of the story was very well done. It didn't stretch out far too long, and it was, I think when Miguel was introducing the different short films, he called this one revenge bathroom porn.
Yeah.
And it's it's very appropriate to that. And as I watched it, I kept thinking, this is something that Pablo Absento might have done.
Right,
If there's any kind of Japanese mythological figure about women seeking revenge against sexual, or sex fiends, this would have been it.
Right.
I mean, it was really cleverly done.
Yeah.
And I like stalkerish kind of horror films, especially when a telephone is involved. I mean, it's a bit cliche,
Right.
but that's one that I enjoy a great deal. I mean,
Yeah.
because here's this disembodied voice that seems to know more about you than you do, and that's fun for me.
Yeah, and then the night capped off with a feature film of Midnighters, which was really I liked a great deal. And
yeah.
it was intense, and it had a very satisfying ending for me anyway.
Yeah.
So
oh yes, this was yeah. I like the idea about the a mystery about a man who is accidentally killed as he's on the way to the same house of those people who hit him. It's a very, very weird, twisted kind of very Stockholm syndrome-ish kind of movie, but it was well played, and and again, I thought I had this one figured out. I like to be surprised.
Exactly.
And no, surprise.
Yeah.
No, you got it wrong.
And that's one of the things that Miguel, when he introduced it, he said, there's so many twists and turns in this thing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It was like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That was a fun kind of little flick. Yeah. I'm not gonna rave about it, but it held my attention, and that's the important thing.
Exactly.
So then we come to Saturday, and this was the full day.
Yes.
Holy
oh my gosh.
moly.
And it started at 11. Oh my gosh.
We were in there. I mean, oh my word, in there for such a long time.
13 hours.
Yes.
From 11 till midnight
hours.
last night. Yes.
It was really something.
And it started off with Bump in the Night short film.
Oh,
showcase.
I
my
liked
gosh.
these.
Yes.
These were great. Okay, I'm going to ask you now. What was any takeaways for you? And I should point out that some of these, maybe in previous years, Miguel did something very strange with the programming. He kind of redefined the programming blocks in some cases. I think the first two would have ended up in like Mexican horror.
Right.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But instead they ended up in Bump in the Night because of the subject matter.
And I don't know. I can't remember because it's been a while since I looked at the Sunday offerings. I don't think that he had a comedy block. So there's comedies interspersed
absolutely
throughout.
Yeah.
And I think one of the standouts of the Bump in the Night was Nightlight.
Oh, it was
charming.
Cute.
Yes.
It was absolutely charming. And the director was actually during in a Q&A afterwards, and he says something that's really neat. Basically, the things that we are most scared of are the things that we don't understand. If we come to understand it, it'll cease to scare us.
Right.
And the MacGuffin in this one, I could see it. It's a scary thing for kids.
Right.
But once you kind of get past that, I mean, it's sort of a Monsters Inc. if you think about it, kind of thing.
Right.
In a way. Yeah. Think Monsters Incorporated from Pixar, and you kind of get a sense for Nightlight. It was very, very charming.
Yeah. And then there was, let's see, I can't tell. We copied some stuff, but there was. I think this was another block. There was Helen or Sandman, Helen, Call of Charlie, and then the Northleach Horror.
Oh yes,
and
yes. Okay, there are two standouts for me on this one.
Yes.
First one, Call of Charlie.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I mean, this was Lovecraftian comedy.
Yes, it was.
And
it was
I
great.
loved it.
Yes.
It was mad. It was absolutely mad, totally mental. And I kept thinking, if Lovecraft wrote a comedy about elder gods, this would be it. It was terrific. And the other one that I just absolutely adored, and had me just in stitches, was Northleach Horror.
Yeah. Oh God. What a scream!
This was very politically incorrect.
Oh God, yeah,
terribly.
And it was way over the top too.
It borderline on gratuitous, but it was insanely funny. Yeah, and apparently whoever directed this, because I don't think the director David Cairns was there, but I guess he has no love for the Welsh.
I guess
because this poor Welshman. You know, in some farming community, and I mean, he really gets it. He gets pasted. It's bad, but it's hilarious. Yeah, and even some of the gags in there are not horror related at all. They're just outrageous comedy.
Outrageous blood comedy.
Well, yeah, but there's one reference, you know, and our linguist lead character, he's got one unique physical feature that he keeps describing. He only has one buttock.
Yes.
You know, and Neil Halford was sitting next to us, and he and I just died. I mean, we were just in hysterics every time that came up. It was just completely bonkers. I very much enjoyed it, and I would hope that finds some kind of distribution somewhere, because that was just outrageously funny.
Yeah, and then that block was wound up by Three Skeleton Key.
Yes, this is an unusual one because I guess it's based on a Vincent Price radio play, which is based on a story.
Right. And it was unusual.
It was
It was very Lovecraftian. Actually,
in a way, if Lovecraft had written the movie Willard, then yes, it would.
Well, but this was it felt like Lovecraft.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Just the way it was crafted, or the story was put together. So.
Yeah, it was crafted with love.
Yep.
I had to say that.
I know you did.
Yeah, of course.
I left that open too.
Right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And then we had in the afternoon the Loved Ones short film showcase.
Right. And here we got some animation.
Yes.
And the first one, I Love You. I thought this was cute.
It was.
And disgusting at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there was Philippa.
This was a nice little treat. I like this because it was directed by Alexander Rodenberg, who was the producer for Elena, that we did
last year.
We ran last year, and it was nice to see him again. That was a nice. It felt Swedish.
Yes, very.
It really did.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they have their own idea of horror, and I think that's one of the nice things about the film festival, is that each country has its own perception.
Exactly.
Its own culture.
Yeah, because we had a Spanish film, we had a Mexican film, we had
we had a French
film,
one, A Perfect Blue Sky. That was French.
Gosh. And
very French.
That was very French.
Screaming French.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Very French.
You know, and Northleach Horror was very, very British.
Oh yeah.
Very British humor.
As well as one that we saw in just a moment. There was Stitched in this.
Which unfortunately that was very telegraphed, but it was well played, I guess.
And then there was Nasty.
Oh dear. Oh dear. That that was interesting. I dug this one. I dug it a lot because it felt like, this is another one that could have been a companion piece to, say, Beyond the Gates.
Yeah.
The idea of, and it all dealt with 70s exploitation horror.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll call it exploitation horror porn. because it was all about gratuitous killings of women.
Yeah. And then
It was a fascinating film.
yeah, and then there was The Honeymoon.
The Honeymoon.
Oh,
Oh dear. And here's
God.
another one that could have been a companion piece to our GLBT feature film B&B.
Yes.
Because it dealt with the B&B, but now the roles are reversed.
And
we
it's-
have a married Christian couple, and wow, the circumstances they find themselves in.
Exactly, and we won't say anything
No,
more.
but it was all very
British.
visual.
It was very British.
Very British, very, very visual. Right from the get-go, and you immediately start scratching your head. You start giggling, but as it goes on and on and on, it becomes hilariously funny.
Yep.
I love that one a great deal.
Then there was A Father's Day and Born of Sin.
Born of Sin, yeah, that was interesting. We had the young actress
Yes.
who is in that one. She was really quite good. Bella Anderson,
Yep.
really good. In fact, she's the reason I think that short film worked,
Right.
because her performance. I mean, she was amazing.
Yeah. And then there was Your Date Is Here.
I like that one.
That was fun.
You know, I'm really digging these horror films that are borrowing on some on these vintage things that we grew up with, be it VCR games or 70s VHS horror films, or in this case the mystery date game. You know, I never played it, obviously,
Right.
but the fact that here are these games that are coming out of my childhood that are now figuring into horror, I like that. I mean, I'm hoping that they do one from some of the more supernatural horror games that I used to play as a kid, you know, like Kabbalah or things like that. I would love
Right.
that.
And then there was Bride of Frankie.
Bride of Frankie.
Which was
Okay,
fun.
this was cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was kind of cute. Another take on Frankenstein. Duh.
And then Blood Sisters. Oh my God.
I like that one.
That was crazy.
That was just really bonkers.
Yep. And then We Together.
Oh yeah, this was the anti-thriller
Yes.
short. You know, to be honest, it didn't resonate.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. Part of it, of course, was the music track. It drove me mad. I didn't care for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Yeah. And then there was the feature film showcase.
Yeah,
And that was
3 dead trick-or-treaters.
right. But yeah, so it started off with Paul's Bad Day.
No. Oh no.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, the 3 dead trick-or-treaters is the name of the block.
Right. And
Right.
then Paul's Bad
Paul's
Day.
Dad. This was, I think of the block, this might have been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Very, very short. It's like a minute and a half, but boy, they tell the story.
Yeah.
And again, it turns the whole zombie mythology on its ear.
Yeah. And then there was Evil Nature.
I like this one.
It was fun.
This was fun.
It
This was pure fun. Attack of the Killer Pumpkins.
Exactly.
Yeah, this was great. I enjoyed it.
And then there was Feeding Time.
Another one
Which-
that I like, and
Yes.
hey, an old a contact from last
Beyond the
year.
Gates. Yeah, Graham
Yeah,
Skipper was in
exactly.
that.
He was
It
in it.
Great.
This was another good one that I very much enjoyed.
Yep. And then there was Smile.
Creepy doll
Yes.
horror.
Yep. And then the 3 Dead Trick-or-Treaters.
Yeah, the 3
which
dead
was,
trick-or-treaters. This was very interesting.
An interesting piece that was not originally intended to be a feature film.
Right.
It was kind of an anthology.
Yeah.
Or it was shot in pieces. In fact,
Well, yeah, the
one
first
of them
two,
was
the
shot
first
5 years
two,
ago.
Fondue was the first segment of that, and then the second segment was Malleus Maleficarum. Both of those were shot as just standalone pieces, and then at some point, I guess when the director decided to do the third one, I guess someone posed the idea, why don't you just kind of put this all into an anthology? And then he did a fourth one, and then bookended it with a story about a guy who's reading these stories.
Right.
It was a rather clever idea,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
and all silent, no dialogue,
There was 0 dialogue.
and
There was only one piece of dialogue, and that was something that was somewhat unintelligible over
a radio.
A radio.
A police radio.
Police radio.
Yeah. That's all it was. But other than that, our primary characters didn't speak. And I will say of that segment, or of that bits, the one that had the greatest impact on me was delivery.
Yeah.
Because this was about police officers having to deliver bad news.
Right.
And when I say bad news, use your imagination.
Exactly.
That, the kind of bad news that families don't want to hear. And the horror in this one is what they have to go through and how it's reflected on their faces.
Right.
It was very well done, and it had a lot of pathos to it. I was very pleased with it.
Yeah. And then there was a little kind of a break type thing, but there was, they did a horror authors panel, a horror literature showcase for about an hour, and it was great. So we kind of dropped in and out of that, and then then there was dinner time, and then the LGBT spotlight, which we sponsored.
And I'm pleased to say that the two films that were part of this block, we helped to select.
Yes. And it was co-presented by Film Out San Diego as well, so we can't forget that.
No.
Creatures of Whitechapel and then B&B. And both.
Let's start with Creatures of Whitechapel.
Oh my gosh. What to say about this film?
It was better than I remembered.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Watching it on the big screen, it was like, oh my God. I remember when we saw it, when we had the private screener, and I thought, this is just beautiful to watch.
Yep.
But it was just stunning.
Well, on the big screen.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it was great.
It was Technicolor madness.
It was. I mean, this is the kind of Technicolor madness that'll make your eyes bleed. It was
but
beautiful.
It was just beautiful, and
the color palette.
Acted.
The color palette had purpose.
Exactly.
I mean, there's one scene. I'm not going to say what it is, but there's one scene where one of our main characters, he's kind of trumpeting about how he's a god of sorts, and he is bathed in red light, and it was so unbelievably powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, this short film is beautiful.
Yeah,
and I love the story.
And it was a different take on the Frankenstein theme.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of crossing.
A lot of crossing of streams
here.
There.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really great.
There's Frankenstein. There's Jack the Ripper. There's steampunk. I mean, it's beautiful.
And then, of course, there was B&B, which
I liked better.
I
loved it again. I absolutely loved it again.
Absolutely.
That is such a wonderful film.
It's compelling. It is very compelling.
Yeah, and as I said when we were presenting it, this is not a classic horror film in the way that people are expecting it. This is more of a psychological thriller, very much in the style of Hitchcock. And what was nice is Miguel then came forward and said, this could be also horror for humanity, and in a way it is. If you think about it, given the LGBT subject matter in it, it could be. It was a wonderful movie. I really loved it.
And then the evening was capped off by 3 films,
2 shorts and one feature.
And it was just, first one was Layers of Fear. It was a short animation piece, which was really kind of fun. And then Rotary.
I loved this one.
Oh my Lord, this one was weird.
For
me, I loved the setup. I did not like the payoff.
Okay. I loved it because it did one thing that I desperately look for in a horror film, and that is it did not rely on what we call jump scare, where something just jumps out at you to try and shock you and make you jump out of your seat and scream.
It's the subtle stuff in the background.
It's the things that are taking place in the scenery that is just there. But seeing what it is about to do, I mean, it really just sent chills up and down my back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wonderful. And when a movie can do that, I'm in.
Yeah. So then the last one was Happy Hunting.
Oh my God.
And we had a bunch of the cast.
See, 2 people of the cast, the director, producers, Yeah, they were all there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. What a ride.
This
Oh
is
my
like
gosh.
a horror version of Running Man meets Deliverance.
Exactly. And it was definitely on the edge of your seat at times.
Yeah, it really was. And again, what was nice about this is that it was sort of telegraphed, but not entirely. It had a few surprises in there. So
Yeah, there was quite a bit. So
Keith is right now having to deal with a cat that is walking all over his mouse.
well, walking all over my desk.
Yeah.
And trying to do something. I don't know what
She wants your attention because he wants your attention because we've been away.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was pretty much the wrap up. That was days 1 and 2 of the Horrible Imaginings.
Yeah,
I wish we could have been there for day 3, but as we said, we have to be back here because we needed to produce an episode.
Yep.
And we've got to go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
So we've already exhausted our PTO.
Exactly, for the rest of the year.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that was our exciting weekend. I really enjoyed it. I
always
get
love
to
going
see-
to that.
And one of the things we were talking about on the way home, and we talked about a couple of times, that these are truly independent films, and they've been either funded through somebody's own pocket or Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or some kind of crowdfunding campaign, and they truly were not beholden to a studio, so they could make the film that they wanted to make.
One thing that, and I want to say this because I want this to be heard. One thing that really impressed me, and I cannot remember which film it was, but the director was asked that question. How did you source this or fund this? And he said sponsors. He actually went out and got sponsors because he said you would be amazed at the number of businesses and companies that are happy to shell out money just to have their names appear in the closing credits.
Yeah.
Hey, keep that one in mind, people.
It really is about who you know.
Right.
And the more you do, the more people you know. It's the same thing with us. The more people we come in contact with,
the greater the network.
Yeah, and it's about networking. And throw our plug in here for independent creators.
Right.
Oh my gosh, there's a tremendous amount of talent out there, and
this
all
again,
of these films.
This festival is such evidence of that because I saw things that no mainstream studio, no major production, like a Warner's or Paramount, they wouldn't even touch this.
Yeah, and while I didn't care for some of the things, they were all well crafted.
Exactly. I mean, there were some that I did not care for at all, but I'm not going to
take
not
in my wheelhouse.
No, exactly. It's not my particular film. I admit I'm not the greatest fan of horror for humanity. However, I must acknowledge that I thought every single one of these films, even the ones that I didn't care for, they were all very well done, professionally shot, excellent quality. Wow.
And I'm a big continuity freak if something is out of place, and I didn't catch any of that in any of these things, and I'm the first one to catch a continuity error, and there was nothing. So it tells you that these people are dedicated to what they do. And one of the people for one of the films mentioned that one of the producers was on set all the time. He was not only the producer, he was doing transportation.
Right.
He was doing catering. He was a gaffer. He was doing
that
this
was,
and
that
that
was for
and
Happy
the other.
Hunting, I think.
And that's what these people do to get their film made and get their story told that they want to tell.
Yep.
If they have to do it, they do it. Whatever it takes.
I will classify that in one word: passion.
Yep, exactly.
Pure passion for their project, and that's another reason why these creations are so good, because of the pure passion involved in getting them made.
Exactly. And that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was our wrap up for Horrible Imaginings Film Festival for 2017.
And thanks to Miguel Rodriguez,
Absolutely.
another man with absolute passion for these movies, because if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have this festival.
Exactly.
I mean, and we wouldn't see the quality of the movies that we do get to see.
Yep. And here comes Miguel.
Hi, this is Miguel Rodriguez from the Horrible Imaginings Film Festival, and you are listening to Two Gay Geeks podcast.
And here's a few selected birthdays for September 11th through September 17th, 2017. September 11th, Brian De Palma.
Of Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
And a number of horror films. I mean, and Rosemary Baby is supposed to be like one scary flick.
Right. And then also on September 11th, Erno Goldfinger. I didn't know that was his first name.
I didn't either.
And it says he's an architect.
Really?
So
Does he then like aim a gold gun or does something to turn it into gold?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Who knows? Anyway, that's his birthday. Also on September 11th, Herbert Lom.
From the Pink Panther films.
The Pink Panther, as well as a number of other things.
Yes,
oh my gosh, he did all kinds of stuff.
In one of the Phantom of the Opera movies from years past.
Yep. And a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Right.
Also, Harry Connick Jr. and also on September 11th, Mr. David Bunch.
Friend I went to high school with.
Yeah, and also husband of Corey Nelson.
Yes,
So,
my oldest friend.
Yes. And also on September 11th, I don't know who this person is, Lynn Hill.
Who?
Lynn Hill?
Who?
Oh, she's my sister, my favorite sister.
Your favorite sister,
Well,
as opposed to the other sister that's not your favorite.
Well, I don't have another sister. That's why she's my favorite sister. September 12th, Desmond Llewellyn.
Let me guess. That we're talking the Indiana Jones films. No. Oh, Desmond Llewellyn.
You're thinking of Denham Elliott.
I am thinking of Denham Elliott.
Because we just talked about him. Desmond Llewellyn. James.
M.
Q. Yes.
P.
R.
No, that's John Cleese.
Also on September 12th, Hans Zimmer and Neil Peart.
Peart. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
And
drummer for Rush.
Yes, and Morris Chevrolet.
The car maker.
Yes. How did you know?
Well, it's in the name.
Maurice Chevalier. September 13th, Nikolai Girov, famous opera singer of the 60s and 70s.
Bassist, yes.
And 50s, 60s, and 70s. Also on September 13th, Roald Dahl.
Probably most famous for the Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book.
Yes. Also, Arnold Schoenberg, 20th century 12-tone composer. Mel Torme. Clara Schumann, who was, I believe, the daughter-in-law of Faulkner.
That sounds about right.
Or maybe that was Fanny Mendelssohn. Clara Schumann was.
I'll take your word for it.
Also on September 13th, good friend of ours, Tiffany Wilhelm.
Happy birthday, Tiffany!
Happy birthday, Tiffany! And we had lunch with her at the Seattle Space Needle. Yes, when we were in Seattle. September 14th, Walter Koenig.
Chekhov. Well, Bester,
yes. And also, who's that masked man?
Who was that masked man?
Clayton Moore.
Yep, the Lone Ranger.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. So let me guess. That song just kind of faded off into the west.
It did. How did you know?
It was a wild guess.
Wild guess.
Yes.
September 15th. Fay Ray.
Oh, of the original King Kong.
Original King Kong. Yes, the original Scream Queen.
Pretty much. Yeah. They all you can say is they had to. They done away with Faye.
There you go. Haha. Also, Agatha Christie, Prince Harry, Jesse Norman, famed opera singer.
Yes.
And Mary Brown.
Wife of Brian Brown from our Slice of Sci-Fi days.
Yes. September 16th, Lauren Bacall and Alan Funt.
Hold on a minute. Alan Funt. Oh, shoot. I can't think of the name of the show. Candid Camera. Thank you.
September 17th, Anne Bancroft, Mrs. Mel Brooks.
Miss Mel Brooks, yes.
Yes. And Roddy McDowell.
Cornelius,
among
Caesar.
other things.
He was the vicar in Bedknobs and Broomsticks. He was Bookworm in the Batman TV series, and God knows what else he was.
Oh, a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, my name is Joe Hogan, and I'm a geek. And if you're currently listening to this, there's a good chance you're a geek too. So check out my podcast, Geektitude. Each week, I talk with somebody about their geek aptitude. Sometimes I talk to people in a geeky profession. Sometimes it's someone doing something really cool with their geekiness. Often it's another geeky podcaster. But it's always someone who wants to share their inner geek. So join me each week as we come together to geek out about all the geeky stuff we love. And remember, this week, keep it geek.
Go give a listen to our friend Joe over at Geektitude.
Thank you for finally giving that to us. How long have we been waiting?
2 years. He said he had this block. He was going to do it for several people. He's promised several people that he would do
because
a bumper.
The last time we saw him was at San Diego Comic-Con, and he said he apologized. He said, I've been meaning to do this, but I just have this block about doing it.
Yeah.
Well, he finally did it. Yahoo!
Yay. And now we have just a little bit of feed bag. The bag of feed. And
I'm busy looking at the cat.
yeah, he's trying to play with everything. My arm and my watch and sit on me, and he's going to fall off the desk here in a moment.
Yeah,
I'm going to scream.
Yeah, Bagheera is our studio kitty.
Yes, at least today.
Yes. Anyway, starting things off, and we don't have that much feedback, just a little bit, but starting things off in regards to our last episode, number 133, as always, we got a lovely response from good friend Brian Arkle Weber. And
the human ankle.
Yeah, the human ankle. As opposed to the animal ankle.
As opposed to the human
ankle.
ankle.
Or the android ankle.
The android ankle.
Android
yes.
ankle. I like that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, I enjoyed The Defenders a great deal, even though Danny Rand is still a problem.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Just less of one.
Just less of one. Yeah, it's true. Just less of one. I'm very relieved that he seemed to have good chemistry when he was on screen with Mike Coulter's Luke Cage. That is true. I thought their dialogue. Chemistry. Yeah,
yes.
it was very good there.
It was well written there, but when it was just Danny that they were writing for, it was like,
when he's preaching,
or the typical Danny, and
I'm the Iron Fist. It's my responsibility. It's like, just shut up.
Yeah, the immortal Iron Fist.
It's my job. It's my destiny.
I am the defender of Kunlun.
Yeah, stifle it. Anyway. Going on, Arkle says, I will be just fine with seeing them canning Iron Fist Season 2 and making him a secondary character on the next season of Luke Cage.
Yes,
well,
please.
To be honest, actually, Luke Cage and Danny Rand do become, in the comic books, they do become like heroes for hire.
Oh, interesting.
And there is a comic book series.
Heroes for Hire.
About the two of them working together. They're Luke Cage and Iron Fist like that. So who knows? I would be all for that. Though even with the slight improvements in the character, he still is, to quote probably the best line of the entire show, a thundering dumbass.
Exactly.
And then Arkle moves on to a different subject, but also from the episode. He says, I would correct Ben's pronunciation on the URL for the Shez Apocalypse fan Tumblr. It actually should be She Apocalypse.
Cheese.
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 Cheese Apocalypse.
Cheese Apocalypse.
Isn't that cute?
There. Is that better, Brian?
Yeah, we like that one. I do. Yeah. But I'm afraid that I would only make things worse, and we'd end up in an infinite mispronunciation loop that would eventually collapse in on itself and create a singularity.
As we just tried to do.
As we just did right there.
Exactly.
Yes. And then we also got a comment from dear friend Patricia Chica. And she said, the TG Geeks share with us their latest adventures. She was actually kind of talking about our vacation.
Yeah.
And she said, they are so funny, those two. Follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Well, hey, people, you just heard Patricia, so what are you waiting for?
Follow us.
Follow us now. And then lastly,
like our show.
Yeah, now.
Follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please.
Now. What are you waiting for?
See us on iHeart Radio.
That's right. And now. Press the pause button now. Take care of it. Did you do it? Good. We're moving on.
Okay.
And then lastly, we ran an article about how Drew Barrymore and the CW, they're going to be delivering an all-women horror anthology series. Now, this really, I love the fact that they're really looking to women now.
Absolutely. There are some great women directors.
There are fantastic women directors out there. And, of course, we know it from Patricia Chica. She has done some amazing horror shorts.
Amazing.
Some that are comedic, some that are just artistic and beautiful and thought-provoking. And so as it is, the CW is now going to be doing this. And just as a quick little cover, they're going to be calling it, I believe, the Black Rose Anthology. It's going to be written by Jill Blotvogel, and she's with CBS TV Studios. And I guess it looks like she was a former showrunner of MTV's Scream, the TV series. Anyway, there will be vignettes about guilt, jealousy, repression, paranoia, insanity, sexual obsession, and survival through a modern and distinctly feminine lens. And right now, according to our article, there is no actual date as to when they're going to be doing this. But nonetheless, this is something the CW wants to push forward. I think it's a great idea. And we had a couple people who quoted Tanya Kellen. She simply wrote, "Perfect for you, Patricia Chica." And I'm like, hey, Patricia, you've got contacts in the business.
Absolutely.
You should submit something.
Check it out. Yeah.
Patricia, please do it. I think it'd be fantastic. And then Aaron P. Roach simply added, and the Soka sisters. And that's our feedback.
If you have something to say to us, any feedback on our episodes, on our articles, on anything that we do, just let us know. We will be glad to hear from you, and we'll share it on our next episode. Just please play nice. You can look us up on Facebook, and you can comment there. You can comment on our website at tggeeks.com. You can comment on Twitter. You can call and leave a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357.
You don't need to hear their identification. They're the Two Gay Geeks. They can go about their business. Move along.
No.
We have no second
second segment
However,
this time.
We're going to play a couple of things for you because we're going to talk about it in just a moment. This is the Podcast It Yourself in conjunction with the release of
Podcasting for Dummies.
Podcasting for Dummies Volume 3, Volume 27,
29.
or whatever. So here we go. We're going to do the short one and the long one.
Interested in starting a podcast? Then be sure to attend PIY 2017. PIY is the Podcast It Yourself workshop, October 28th in Phoenix, Arizona. Learn about software, hardware, accessories, best practices, and more to make your podcast rock. Need more information? We'll have the authors of Podcasting for Dummies 3rd edition, T. Morris and Chuck Tomasi, on hand to answer questions and sign books. Spaces are limited, so go to podcastingfordummies.com and sign up for PIY 2017. We look forward to seeing you there.
And here's the long version.
Mark your calendars and plan to attend PIY 2017. PIY is the Podcast It Yourself workshop, and it's happening in Phoenix, Arizona, October 28th, 2017. This interactive workshop is being held for people who want to start a podcast or want to learn more about podcasting from experienced and respected podcasters. Learn about software, hardware, accessories, best practices, and more. And of course, we've got prize drawings to make podcasters weak in the knees. The workshop coincides with the long-awaited release of Podcasting for Dummies 3rd edition. Authors T. Morris and Chuck Tomasi will be at PIY to answer questions and sign books. Oh, and it also happens to be T's birthday, so come help him celebrate after the workshop is done. You do not want to miss this event. Spaces are limited. Go to podcastingfordummies.com and sign up for PIY 2017. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Podcastingfordummies.com and PIY 2017. Go now.
Who is that guy with that masked voice?
It's that
Chuck
that
Tomasi guy.
that Tomasi, Mr. Technorama guy.
Mr. Technorama.
Yeah, Rama.
Rama. Yeah, so Podcast It Yourself, we're going to be doing a few things with that. And it's going to be really exciting. And it's cheap. It's, I think it's $10.
Something like, yeah, it's really, really cheap to go to.
Let's look here. Where is it? How much? 10, I think. Where is it?
It's not expensive.
Where is it? It's there somewhere.
Well, we keep looking.
Oh, $20.
20.
Oh my gosh. So $20 for several hours, and there's several different tracks. Some of the tracks, there's best practices, there's passion, the what not to do, and that's the one I'm going to be talking about, kind of best practices. Keeping your sanity, mixers, microphones, accessories. Somebody's doing Audacity and hosting as well as social media. So it's going to be interesting.
Right. And a number of podcasters are going to be there in addition to us. In fact, you heard the bumper from Joe Hogan for Geektitude. Joe's going to be there. He's confirmed that he will be in attendance to this. Yep. So I think this is going to be very interesting. I'm quite looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. And so go check it out. We'll have the link for the PIY on our website. So as always, we have a few follow-up items. Check out our calendar on the website. You never know what you might find there, birthdays and cons. And if you have something, let us know. We'll put it on the calendar.
Birthdays, cons, events. Oh, my.
Oh, my, yes. Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest back in Phoenix, November 11th and 12th. At the convention center, they have started releasing some of the guests that they're going to have there, and a couple of big names. And
yeah, they just announced. I can't think of the actor's name now.
Kevin McNally.
Yes, Kevin McNally. He is probably best known recently for he's a shipmate of Jack Sparrow.
Yes. So, and then there's also Ernie
Hudson of Ghostbusters.
And several people from Steven Universe, 3 of the voice actors from Steven Universe, and a couple of big name cosplayers.
Yeah.
So, and more to come. So check it out, myfanfest.com for more information. OperaCon by Arizona Opera coming on October 21st. So, several events surrounding the performance of Hercules versus the Vampires on that evening. Stay tuned for more, and you can check out Arizona Opera at azopera.org. And, of course, Podcast It Yourself, PIY, is October 28th. Check out the link that we'll have in the show notes. Come see us and say hi. We're going to be at the following events, the OperaCon, and at the performance of Hercules versus the Vampires on October 21st. The PIY, Podcast It Yourself, on October 28th, and Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest, November 11th and 12th. And as you heard, we are huge supporters of independent creators. It has become our passion and our thing, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, etc. There is a tremendous amount of talent out there that doesn't have the connection to the big time,
Right.
shall we?
Somebody's got to talk about it.
Money, but
and we're happy to talk about it because,
Absolutely.
as we said earlier, there is some amazing quality there.
there truly is. So if you see somebody that's doing a crowdfunding campaign for some kind of artistic output, please consider supporting it. Every penny helps.
Absolutely.
And you can be part of something big. You never know. Support independent creators.
Special thanks go to Doctor Who Talking Who. They are on Twitter, and they publish the Doctor Who Fancast Guide, which on occasion recirculates the stories that we run during the week. You can find them by going to Twitter. They are at Talking Who. And earlier you heard us talking about the android ankle. The human ankle. Yes, Brian Weber. He posts...
We're just kidding with you.
Yeah, Brian, we love you. We really do.
We do.
It's the only reason we tease you so much. Anyway, Brian posts the...
And he's saying to himself, don't love me so much.
Don't love me so much, please. I wish you'd hate me. Anyway, he publishes the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News that also republishes many of our stories. And you can find the human Arkle by going to Twitter, simply at Arkle. That is ARKLE. And he also has the incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes. Lots of fun to check out. It is on Tumblr. We'll have the link for that in the show notes. But by all means, don't be caught looking at it while you're at work. You don't want to get in trouble.
I don't want to say sketchy, but it's
well, some of it is
a little racy.
Some of it is naughty. But you're supposed to be working when you're at your job.
Bits.
Pardon?
Some naughty bits.
Well, there are a few naughty bits.
Not
bits. That kind of naughty bits.
Yeah. Anyway, we want to give a shout out to The Lookie Show on Twitter and especially their show on YouTube, The Lookie Show. They do film reviews in a most unique fashion. So check them out on YouTube and Twitter, at Lookie Show on Twitter and Lookie Show on YouTube.
And a special shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek. I mean, gay and geek, kind of goes hand in hand. It's a fantastic group. We absolutely love it. Fantastic people there, and they allow us to share our content there. We normally share our episodes there, but every once in a while, if there is an article that we're running that is relevant, we'll run that there too. Like ran the day 2 of Horrible Imaginings Film Festival because of the LGBT block. Ran that there as well, and we thank them for allowing us to share our content there. Specifically, we wish to thank Jeremiah Reeves. He is their moderator, and he said, sure, just make sure to mention us, and we're happy to put your stuff here. And you can find that group by going to facebook.com/groups/thegaygeek.
Thank you, Jeremiah. We want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads. They always run them at the bottom of each article and each episode, as well as some widgets on this right-hand side. So check them out. Gets a little traffic. You don't have to buy anything. If you choose to buy something, use one of our search ads. That would be great. We get a little bit of a kickback. Thank you for your consideration. And lastly, check us out on iHeartRadio and rate us and review us on iTunes and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate it.
Big time.
Thank you. Who knows what we're going to have next time?
It's right now. It's too soon. I mean, the dust still needs to settle.
Exactly. So we'll have something for sure.
Oh yeah.
And we turned this whole thing into an hour here.
Yeah.
So.
That wasn't hard.
Yeah. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article of this episode, and we'll have several links on the page of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page, our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.